Hi, it's Agatha. Almost 3 years after the firmware was originally open sourced, we've got a long overdue 1.0 release. So let's talk about the firmware, the features, the future of Flipper, and try to guesstimate what will happen next. We will also take a look at a new unexpected device that could soon emerge, so please look forward to that. Another blog post where Flipper folks are patting themselves on the back and saying that they faced many challenges and did many good things. The whole what's new in Firmware 1.0 is kinda bullshit. Everything here. Technically there's nothing new here. Well, the only new thing is the new animation and a configurable always happy mode. The rest of the things are fixes and improvements. But looking at this from a different angle, there certainly are some new things since the firmware was open sourced. And there are some new things compared to the firmware that was shipped to the Kickstarter backers. That one was really raw. So the apps were there for some time. The Flipper has their app catalog from where you can download the apps. Most of it is done through the mobile phone because they're mobile first. But yeah, that's nothing new. NFC 3 times faster, new subsystem. Okay, they really did a revamp. They fixed and improved. That's nice. 1 month battery life in standby. There was actually a whole old previous blog post about it. Like, I'm not going to look at it now, but they explained in details how they improved the battery life. And I could explain in details why it's pretty useless. I mean, there's one feature that we'll talk about a bit later that could be a lot more useful than a 1 month on standby. My personal experience with Flipper is I keep it in the backpack, and sometimes, most of the times actually when I need it, I'm taking it out and the battery is at 0. I turn it on and it says, please charge me or go to hell. Unusable. So yeah, it can live for a month without charging, but it does nothing useful. And when you need it, it's not available. So yeah, nice improvements. Good that they did it. Useful? Not really. JavaScript support. That's probably something really new. I know that initially they were considering some MicroPython, but I guess they did go with the JavaScript support. That's the first new thing. Apps catalog. Wait, what is the difference between apps and an apps catalog? Oh, okay, so the apps are the FAPs and the app catalog is their Flipper thingy where you can download them. Yeah, nice. We figured it out. Congrats. 89 radio protocols supported. Up from how many? No idea. Okay, yeah, they're in support. That's nice. Bluetooth, twice as fast. And 40% faster update transfer via Bluetooth. This is a weird one. So you can't make Bluetooth faster. You can't improve the protocol itself. It's your implementation of the protocol that can be improved. So another way to look at this is we've implemented the protocol like shit, and now we finally did a refactoring, and now it works a bit better. Yay! 20 RFID protocols supported. Good, nice. That's like a lot of research on this RFID protocols was done elsewhere, and Flipper just supported them. So that's great. Yay. Infrared types of universal remotes. I think there were universal remotes right from the start. Maybe they weren't as complete, but that's nothing new. External radio model support. I don't have that. And they don't have that in their shop either, so it's something third party. But they do support it, so that's nice. Good for them. Yeah, they just descended into the marketing bullshit and keep repeating themselves with new things that aren't actually new. There haven't been any features for a long time. The only thing we're getting that's really new is the new animations. The firmware was supposed to release in 2023, the beginning of 2023, but it has only been released at the end of 2024. There is also a link to the public Miro board. I don't know how often this board is updated, but it had the releases, the previous releases, release 1.0, which is done, and some new things for release 1.1, so new models for JavaScript, NFC Felica standard, NFC MF key flow, FBT new target support system, whatever that is, and somewhere in the future they still have 1.0 release for some reason, SD encryption for storage, and FAPs in separate threads in the CLI. And there's nothing more. With that, the features have ended. Now, there's no way to know when this board was last updated, and since it's a public board, perhaps they do have some features planned which are not here yet. But as it is now, it looks like there's not much else to do. Maybe they'll take a look at pull requests and feature requests that are in GitHub right now and try to implement them. But yeah, maybe they'll even take a look at some of the features that they did cut out before. One of them from 4 years ago was the USB NFC reader. That was from way before, when Flipper didn't have a phone app and they thought that using a laptop to interface with a Flipper is a good idea. And it really is. But as far as I know, the USB NFC adapter and libNFC are not implemented, and they won't be implemented by Flipper's developers. So unless someone else decides to do that, we'll have to stick with the phone. Also, speaking about features that were removed, the original open sourcing firmware post had this, oh, and one more thing. Flipper uses 433 MHz to communicate with other Flippers, and you can make some cyber dolphin friends. Of course, some people, they kind of were weirded out by that. What? My hacker tool communicates with other tools? But actually, that's a cool social feature. Nintendo had a 3DS, and 3DS used to communicate with each other, and they were able to send short messages and tell you who you passed by with a name and message. And it looks like Flipper had something like that planned, but it may have been scrapped. Of course, it's just an optional feature to play with, and it's not implemented. In 2023, in October, we still had Cyber Dolphin Friends on their main page. But now on the real website, there are no mentions of Dolphin Friends, sadly. Actually, there's quite an old issue related to that. Well, not exactly to the sub-gigahertz, but to Flipper advertising its name on BLE for everyone to see. And some people even found the Flippers here on the maps of the Bluetooth devices, which is kind of fun. The latest post from the developer on January 2nd, they'll integrate the private address mode and hide names from announcements. It will take a couple of releases before this change arrives. So probably no more Flipper friends and no more advertisements. No fun social features, no games, no nothing. Oh well, moving on. The Flipper Auto Shutdown feature is still untouched from 2 years back. That would be really nice and really useful, like I said before, because being able to turn on the flipper and just use it without looking for a charger, sometimes it can be a lifesaver, especially if you don't use it very often. Despite not having many features planned, looking at the pull requests, it looks like they still have a lot of work to do. The latest thing is adding documentation. Documentation is really nice. Since their API is stable, they can finally write proper docs for how to develop for the Flipper Zero. Maybe the community will take over most of the development and the Flipper folks will have something else to do. Actually, while looking at the commits, I found mentions of F18, which is not Flipper Zero, and F7, which is Flipper Zero, in their build targets. A quick Google search points to a Reddit thread where Flipper Zero is one device and Flipper Nano is the F18 device, which doesn't have NFC, RFID, sub-gigahertz, I-button or infrared. So it's a really stripped down device, which looks something like that. Terribly ugly, but has a lot of GPIO ports. Everything that's not connected. All the cool features, they are now GPIO ports. There are some pictures of the board itself, official pictures by the way it seems. But taking a look at Discord and reading the last messages, it seems that Flipper Nano was already scrapped. However, the F18 build still seems to be getting updates. So what is it? Is it scrapped? Is it really scrapped? Or maybe something is changed? Maybe they will remove something else, like the buttons, the screen, and it will be just a dev board with a lot of GPIO? No idea. While looking for more info about Flipper Nano and this board, I came upon an interesting post on a Russian website, haber.com. It seems that someone named Blue Wolf is planning to release a board that is compatible with Flipper Zero firmware. There are some pictures of the board itself, and it has the buttons. One of the buttons is on the wrong side. It has a screen, a tiny battery, and a lot of stuff. Reading through that, it seems that everything stays. All the features that the Flipper has, nothing is removed. Even maybe something else is added. There's a crappy neural network drawing, and the board apparently is named Kisu, linking to Kisu.io. I actually didn't take a look at that yet. Wait, that's wrong. Kisu.io. Oh yeah, that's the one. So, multi-purpose development board with Flipper Zero compatibility. Yeah, the main feature is it will be compatible with Flipper Zero firmware, but the hardware will be completely different. They promise all the interfaces, all the cores, and some additional sensors, perhaps the digital accelerometer, temperature and humidity sensor, ambient light sensor, can be installed by the user, so it will probably have some additional add-ons as well, and powered by a CR2032 battery. Yeah, there's nothing else here except for the email and an invitation to sign up for the newsletter. So this looks very cool and promising because it seems to have all the features of not only Flipper Nano, which was scrapped or not scrapped, but also Flipper Zero and even some additional features that Flipper Zero doesn't have right now. But it's a completely different board and a completely different form factor with its completely different set of problems. Let's see if the Flipper folks will have something to say to that. Maybe they have some secret board they will release soon. So from what I can see and understand here, they plan to start selling this in 1 to 2 months, which is kind of hard to believe. I mean, with the Flipper, we had to wait like 1 or 2 years. And here I wouldn't expect anything in at least half a year. Maybe next year, but nothing yet. The expected price is around €60, which is €100 cheaper than Flipper Zero now. But that may change, of course. And now they are requesting comments, asking what would you like to get added to make it better, and saying that maybe it will be available in version 4. It would be really nice to have some more info, but unfortunately there are no more posts, no more new posts by Blue Wolf, and the landing is just a landing page with nothing special on it. But that's actually pretty interesting. A Flipper Zero clone, which is coming not from China, but from Russia, and having all the features of Flipper Zero and even some more. That would be a really interesting thing to look at. And I'm sure I'll be keeping an eye out for this key issue. But for now, there is no more info, and this probably is already a long video. So I'll shut up and go off for now. Thanks.